Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed ready for our next run. So this is going to be Super Mario Odyssey, Any Percent by NoahMJR. Noah, take it away.
Hello. So this is Super Mario Odyssey, Any Percent. So you might notice that we are not on the Mario Odyssey start screen, and there is a reason for that. That is because in the third kingdom in the game, we have what's called a seed that takes 20 minutes to grow. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting the time before the start of the run so that the seed will grow instantly instead of taking 20 minutes. It'll make more sense once we get to Sand Kingdom. So the timer does not start on the OK. The timer starts when I actually hit start in the game. So we'll go ahead and we'll go there now. And we can start in 3, 2, 1, go. So, you will not see the story of this game, so I guess I'll explain it. Mario gets knocked out from Bowser and he lands here. And so basically they go through all of the kingdoms to try to rescue Princess Peach. It's a Mario game. It's pretty basic story-wise. And the first thing we'll do here is, as we come up on this bridge, I go into first person, and that automatically pans the camera out so that we will save like a second there. This is the first capture of the game. It's a frog. We will be capturing a lot of things. It's Mario Odyssey's main mechanic. Oops, bonk there. So this is the first trick of the run. It's called left side. It's kind of difficult to set up. I'll see if I can get it here. No. That's unfortunate. It happens. But we can just go into the boss fight this way. And we're in. This is the first kingdom of the game done as we capture this wire to head into Cascade Kingdom. This is an unskippable cutscene. You'll see the logo. And I mean, other than missing left side, that's a pretty good Cap Kingdom for me.
Yes, I can already see that, like, at the very start we're already going like pretty crazy.
Cascade is similar to Cap in the fact that it is very linear. There's not much routing to be done in Cascade. It's more just getting story moons and then one moon at the end that's not a story moon. You won't be able to see the moon names, but this moon is called our first power moon. The bridge will fall. We will skip this cutscene right here. Master some dialogue. there are a lot of skipped cutscenes. Someone timed it out one time. I think it was like 25 minutes of cutscenes in the any percent run, even after you skip them. It's crazy. This is, I think, the first trick ever discovered in the game. It's called Dino Skip. So, where you can just skip all the way to the boss fight just like that. Normally you would have to go all the way around the kingdom, climb up like a 2D wall, but we can just skip straight to the boss fight. And that's the first boss done. Not as fast as it could have been, but still relatively fast.
So Noah, if I could just ask then, in terms of like, if someone was to want to learn this game, for example, for the first time, obviously the movement tech plays a massive part in running this fast. What would you rate on kind of like the scale of 1 to 10?
More dialogue, and then we'll get our last minute of the kingdom, which is just gonna do triple jump, dive. You're supposed to open a pipe to get up there, but it's really easy to just jump up and get it, and that's the end of Cascade Kingdom. As we move into Sand, you will see more why I set the timer at the beginning. It'll come into play in this kingdom.
So me watching this as a casual.
Kingdom in the game where you have to push left before actually selecting the kingdom. All the other ones you can just mash A, which I don't know why Nintendo decided to do that. It just makes it really annoying when you accidentally mash A and you lose like 2 seconds, because Cappy tells you that you can't be in the same kingdom you're already in. More skipping through cutscenes. More cutscenes. There's a bird on the left. We have to hit that bird before it flies by. Which is what I will try to do right now. Got it. There we go. Okay.
The movement in this game is insane, guys.
This is the first open kingdom. We get 16 moons here, and you will notice that we get basically 0 story moons that aren't required. Very, very, very few that are not required. And I actually think I'm a little too fast. Maybe? No, we got it. We got the seed. Now we go into here. We get this moon. And then we leave this area, which is called the town. We also have our first clip out of bounds towards the end of this kingdom, so you'll get to see that too. There we go. That side flip is very risky. You don't always get it, but it's really cool when you do. Goes over the wall and gets this man. We're gonna try to keep that bullet bill alive, but if we can't, it only loses a little bit. Yeah. The ideal way is you keep that bullet bill alive so you don't have to wait here for another one to spawn. We will come back to that crate moon in a little bit. So there's a moon up here, and normally you have to go through like a whole sub area to get it. It just takes a while, but we can actually just jump up there and grab the moon, and also get the 50 coins that come with it, because we do actually need coins for this one. Capture the bullet bill, and okay, that is very hard to land on that fence without sliding off, so I had to focus for that. Kill this so it doesn't disrupt, and now we are going to do a trick known as platform clip. Unfortunately, not first try. That's unfortunate. It happened though. We just have to climb back up. And kill this. Man, I got that. Okay, there we go. And we're through the wall. That is platform clip. We get this moon. We still have to be out of bounds because we get into this sub area and we grab this and we get out. Moon, and we are going to leave Sand Kingdom. That is a risky warp. Sometimes you won't actually touch your feet to the ground, so the game won't give you a warp, and you'll lose a little bit, but we did get the warp right there. Now it's time for Lake Kingdom. This is one of the most boring kingdoms in the run. Not much really happens. We do a boss fight. So we'll do another boss in Lake Kingdom, and actually another one in the kingdom after too. Because bosses are generally done at the end of kingdoms because they automatically warp you back to the Odyssey, so we can just put the moves back in. There we go. second moon. And now it's time to be a fish. And you'll know there are 2 water kingdoms in this game, and usually water levels aren't the most fun, but the captures really make up for it. Captures are really what sets this game ahead, and why this is my favorite Mario game of all time. It's actually the first game I ever wanted to speedrun. That barely worked. I don't know how that worked. And, I did not mean to pause there. I just accidentally hit the button. Okay. And I got it. That is... Hang on, let's see if I can get both cycles. Yeah. That is called Rango Clip, where you can just go directly through. I don't know if that's the official name, that's what I call it. But you can just ground pound through his body and skip his jumping around phase. So it's good that we got that on the first try both times. And that is Lake Kingdom done. And we are headed to Wooded Kingdom. Yeah, Lake Kingdom is a fast one. These are just more cutscenes. There are so many small cutscenes in this game. I've said that before, but it's really crazy. Alright. This bunny is very annoying to have to try and catch. It's really a pain. There we go. You throw this and collide with the other rock. There's a moon in it, and that instantly breaks it to get the moon. Now we have to buy our first moon of the game, of which we will buy one more moon in a later kingdom. It just happens to be the fastest moon in the particular kingdoms where we buy them. Rainbow Spin there actually loses time because you want to just immediately wall jump. That side flip is actually quite difficult to get, in all honesty. And I was going for a trick called Not Clip there, but it is a very hard trick. Yeah, okay. The reason we go back here is because we go up. Because we are going to run up a wall. So, first, we get up here. We land on this little spot in the wall where we can jump up. Like that, and then this big wall. You're normally supposed to use the rocket flowers, but you can actually, if you hit the right spot, you can just run up the wall like that. But you also jump up as well. it's a bit finicky sometimes. It works. It usually doesn't take more than like 20 or 30 seconds. It is decided to not work today. There it goes. There it goes. And we are up the wall. Alright. There's our next one, and our next one is going to be right after that. That's just right here. Bang. There we go. Get this. Good. Come around here. We will come back for that, man. We just leave it so that we can get this and then come back to it later. Later, and by later I mean right now. We're just going right back to it. Now, normally, the game wants you to hit that P switch that just opened up and then go along the bridge. But that bridge is slow. So we're going to do something else called Flower Road Skip, where if you line it up properly, and my hands just wet, so I died. My hands just slipped, so I unfortunately had a death there, but honestly, we're still probably saving time. Okay, and then we can just do a triple jump, dive, ground pound again. Long jump. What it is notorious for killing runs. It is super hard to get a run out of boarding. And these are called stretchy boys, or their official term is uproots, but in the community they call them stretchy boys. They're used basically all throughout Wooded Kingdom. And we will finish Wooded off with the boss right at the end. There we go. And bang, throw, backflip, bang. And that is the entire Wooded Kingdom there. Now we're on to what is essentially just a boss fight kingdom in Cloud. Its only purpose is to serve as a boss fight for you to beat Bowser. And then, so that goes by very quickly as we can beat Bowser in under 2 minutes. the most consistent way to do this. Jump, dive, and then just roll across. Roll with Bowser so that you can instantly get the hat, so you can immediately punch it. That saves a little bit as to having them wait to throw the hat long jump so you can get close enough to them, because normally you're supposed to grab the hat and then he jumps around in like fire circles and it's really annoying, but we can skip all that by just being right next to him when we put the hat on our head so that we can immediately start punching him, jump, and then immediately punch him. And that is the entire Bowser fight. The boss fights in this game are not hard at all. As we move into Lost Kingdom, we normally would go over the bridge in a casual playthrough, and Klepto would steal your hat and you would have to go get it back. But in a speedrun, we can just do this jump right here and just skip all of Klepto's nonsense and immediately go and start getting moons. Now it's time for the butterfly moon, which I like to attack at that angle because sometimes the butterfly will fly away. That moon is very risky. You can very easily just roll off the side there and it just not work. Three. This man. And here we trigger Klepto so that when we go down to the areas where he'll steal your hat, we won't trigger them anymore because Klepto thinks that he's already gotten a hat because we triggered him. You can break both those blocks. Normally you're supposed to do that at one at a time, but you can actually break both of those blocks. To do that, you can get this man inside the cage. And finally, moon under the bridge, where I'm gonna die right here. Not like that. I did not mean to do that. That was an accidental death. You're supposed to die. You are not supposed to die like that. You have to be very careful, as Klepto can get Cappy if we go on the bridge and then we can't go to the Odyssey and we can't actually leave the kingdom if that happens. So we hit the side of this bridge, we get the moon, and then we die, is what we are supposed to do. And then we glow. Rough lost, honestly, really rough. But we should be able to make up for it with a good Metro Kingdom. Picking a Metro, it requires the most amount of moons to leave. You need 20 moons to leave Metro, but they are actually gotten very fast. Like, because there are just so many moons in Metro that getting 20 isn't that difficult. As you can see, 20 required moons. Bang. Okay. Oh, that has literally never happened to me before. I have done that strat for a year and a half now, and that has literally not happened once, ever. I'll do it again. Oh, like, that's what normally happens. The Spyran missing like that has never happened before. That was crazy. Even when I do races and stuff. We jump up this building, we backflip onto here, and we get the man in the gutter. Wow, I cannot believe that happened. We long jump. Normally you're supposed to go all the way around the kingdom, but we just go across the buildings and jump dive. Two, three. Unfortunately missed the triple jump there, but it is alright. And we're going to climb up this pole to our next moon, which is at the very top of this interior area, right in there. Now, it's time for the blind faith jump, which I don't know after what has happened if I could. So, but we got it. That is a very scary jump, no matter how good you get in this game. That is just, it always freaks me out, every single time. Now this boss is called the Mecha Wiggler, and the Mecha Wiggler technically has infinite phases, but like, it all depends on how fast you're able to shoot the bubbles. What we want to do is we first want to get the Mecha Wiggler here, and bring it back to over here, and we eventually want to get this wall. So right now I will be moving with that wall. You see the red line, that's the wall we want. And if I play well, I can actually finish this off right now. If I play poor, however, it might take me another cycle to finish it. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't choose cycle, and instead, we'll have to get it on the next phase, which is lined up right here. It always ends up at this wall, so if I can make it travel here, that is the fastest way to do it. And that doesn't happen very often, but there we go. We killed the Mecha Wiggler, and that boss fight was up. What happened there is I pulled down my hand, and it hit the uncapture button, which is the shoulder button, so it uncaptured the tank, and then the tank got hit. But we finished Night Metro, and now we're on to the day version of Metro Kingdom, which is where all of the moons unlock. skip this cutscene, master some dialogue, and I'm gonna do what's called a dram strat, which is basically you leave Cappy by something that can be captured, and then after you get a moon or do something, shake Cappy really hard so you instantly go to the capture, so I don't have to go off the normal one. Now, normally you would have to capture that man and drive it, but that's really annoying. So instead, what we do is called scooter clip, and if I can line it up properly, I should be able to go through. It requires a very, very awkward hand positioning, and basically for Mario to be leaning as far as he possibly can in order to clip in to the little area to touch the moon's hitbox. And that is what we're trying to do. We're trying to touch the moon's hitbox. And for some reason, it's deciding it doesn't want this. Works like every single time earlier. This worked so often earlier, but now it's just not working for absolutely no reason at all. Work, please. There we go. There it is. So, that's scooter clip where it finally decided to work. We're going to do another dram right here. This dram is called pole dram. To capture that pole just a little faster than we normally would. And then we get the best man in the game. This is Bench Friends. And it is the best man in the game because you're just talking to a lonely guy. And it's very wholesome. Very happy. Bench Friends. We go in here to this gutter. I wish you could dram out of this gutter, but it's just a little too big. These poles, you can flick yourself at high speeds, and we talked to the mayor here to unlock story moons because we're actually gonna get 2 story moons in this kingdom because they're just faster to get. Okay. My spender is not hitting that. We go ahead and we get this moon in the level. And we get our second story moon. Mario's not even in frame. Which is kind of funny. Because you're supposed to be a lot closer when we get that, but we don't really care. Now we warp for the first time. And we get the high up trash can. I don't know how they got a trash can up there or who threw this away, but it's good for us. And then a blind dive, which works like 20% of the time. But if you don't get it, you just warp back up and do it the other way. Like that. And we dive out. And that is the fastest way to climb that pole. Okay. Luigi Hentai. A moon right here. The Luigi Hentai right there gives 200 coins. That's so we can buy a moon in the next kingdom, because normally you just wouldn't be able to get that many coins without getting that hentai and still going fast. People's Room, one of my favorite rooms in the game. I just like bouncing off these trampoline things. And you get both moons in here. And that's the end of Metro Kingdom. As we move into Snow Kingdom, we get into the back half of the run, also known as the significantly harder half of the run, because movement is a lot tighter. Movement in the back half is a lot better because I practice it more than the first half. But we'll see how it goes, because there are a few kingdoms that are just ultra difficult, no matter how much you practice. Bang, bang, long jump, dive. And it's the first moon, but the rest of the moons in this kingdom will be got inside of the whole area that I'm about to go into. That's right here, the compound, and this area is called Spyran, and it is where we will get the rest of the moons in Sand Kingdom. In Snow Kingdom, excuse me. We buy our next moon in here. And then we get to bounce on another thing. Yeah, a lot of trampolines that you bounce on in this game, except this one's a food cart, all the way up to here. Dive. No. And we go inside of here to do the most easily deathable room in the entire game if you make a mistake. That was actually a pretty good execution of the first man. But like, you can so easily die in this room. But fortunately, I do not. I do not. So we are just able to move on to Goomba Room. Bang. And my dive button just didn't want to work right there, I guess. It does that sometimes. Input drops in this game are incredibly common. As we land on here to open this one. Bang. And we just need one more move to finish off the kingdom, which we will go into the final sub area to get, the final sub area in this one. There's one sub area we actually don't go into. That trick is called pipe suckage, where even though it looks like you missed the pipe, the game actually sucks you back into the pipe. I've actually never seen it like that. I thought I overshot the pipe by a mile, but the game had favor on me, so I ended up getting suckage, and we get our last one. There we go. And now we move on to Seaside Kingdom, which is the other water level in the game that's not like they both take actually about the same amount of time. Seaside, in most cases, actually taking slightly longer. But the moons are also a little bit more spread out in Seaside Kingdom. We will also do another clip in Seaside Kingdom at the end of the kingdom. That Goomba can be very annoying, so if he's just sitting there, I like to just capture him to make sure I get up. First man. Dive, jump, ground pound, finish. That, you're supposed to like feel the rumble for that and the Sand Kingdom one, but we just know where the moon is, so we can just immediately get it. And we capture a fish, and we will be in a fish for basically the rest of the run. Chessman, which the stakes actually go downwards, which allows us to stay on the same vertical plane, yet get those moons. That was weird. Not quite sure what happened there. We're gonna go up. Now, we played everything good, so Dory is just right here. do have to shake all three of these before you shake the middle and the moon spawns. You shake up to get them in just a little early. This is fish clip. You go away, you recapture the fish, and you can just slip through the seam. That uses a glitch called suckage, where if you're on the edge of the seaside map like that, the game will try to suck you back in. So by going the opposite way and then forcing yourself through, it'll actually let you clip. Got it. Now it's time for Lonesome Kingdom, which is honestly probably the hardest kingdom for movement because there's a lot of places where you can just miss one input or get a miss input and just die because there is lava all throughout this level. As you can see right now, actually, there is lava constantly. This ground pound jump is a little difficult sometimes, but I should just, like, that ceiling really messes up your jump. But like, it's not that bad, as you can see, as I'm able to get up after just a few attempts. Double jump, dive, jump. Roll, long jump, dive. This is the second time we faced Buick, and if you notice, I also fought him in Wooded Kingdom. He comes back in this kingdom as well, where he is just as easy as he was in Wooded Kingdom. As we collect the story man. That room that's all we do. Like, there's another moon in that room, but it's not worth getting. As we climb up here, and choose the next moon, which is right here. Jump. And that man, it's actually a glowing crate, but we just don't turn the camera towards it because it's still loaded and it's unnecessary time lapse. jump, ground pound. If you jump and ground pound at the correct time right there, you can actually get the mana. Sometimes this game just doesn't like to work, like as far as the inputs, so stuff like that can just happen. And now it's time for my other favorite sub-area in the game. And I probably like this one more than People's Room, honestly. It's time for the Fork sub-area. I have done this sub-area more times than I can count at this point. And I like to say I'm pretty good at it. I can do it like that. It's a lot of shaking, the home capping in, and things of that nature. Come over here, jump up. Then instead of going through all of those lava piles, because that would take a while, you can just hit that at the right spot and immediately jump up and get this one. Okay. And now it's time to get the story man. Right here. This is like on like 116 pace, 115 pace, something like that. Maybe a little higher. Here we go. Yeah. That is a dive vault. That is useful in other places, but it's also pretty difficult, so I don't really use it there to get over to that man faster. I could have bounced on Cappy there, but I realized I should probably shake just for capture. And this is the last man of Luncheon Kingdom. We will be leaving very shortly. We just gotta skip this cutscene and then skip the next cutscene and then master some dialogue. And then that is the end of Luncheon Kingdom. Now it's time for another boss fight kingdom that if you are too careful on, you can very easily trip up and die and lose multiple minutes. So you gotta be very careful. It's time for Ruined Kingdom. There's a reason why we go to Ruined Kingdom. It's a story reason. Bowser uses a dragon to knock us off the ship, which is how instead of right away going to Bowser's, we instead end up right here. I was really hoping it would load faster than that in the Ruin Kingdom. Time for another boss fight kingdom. There we go. The game is very generous, giving you like 5 hearts for this fight, which is very nice because the speed strats require us to take damage. Not damage there, but you know what? I will take it because I didn't take damage in the normal spot anyway. So. But if you are not careful, Ruin Kingdom can trip you. I was making sure Cappy homed into that because sometimes Cappy just doesn't want to do it for no apparent reason. We get up here so that we can immediately start doing that. And now it's time for the last hit. And this will take 2 hearts, so if you're not at 3, you need to get there because it'll take 3 from you sometimes actually. I forget that when you get there like a little late at all. But that is the Ruined Dragon. If you're not careful, you can die. I have died there. I actually lost a tournament game because I died there one time, which was very unfortunate. But now we're moving on to the second to last kingdom of the game. Bowser's Kingdom, which has a lot of story moons, so it only takes 8 moons, but 6 of those are story moons that are very far apart. So the kingdom takes a lot longer than you would initially expect it to. There is a deceptive amount of mashing in this game where you are just mashing through a bunch of Cappy dialogue. One more cutscene, and we start Bowser's Kingdom. Hitting that gate actually straightens you out for that type of line, so it's actually pretty good. You can hit that gate. Kill this Spiny. We are going to do another dram where we get this moon, shake, and capture the bird. To get back up. Two, three. Jump, ground pound. So that you're just standing right over it when you get the moon. Our second story moon of the run. Our second moon. Our first story moon of Bowser's. Our second moon total. Now it's time for shards and smart bombing. Which the route for this is actually good. Oh, you get this one. Here you do, it's called a I just had like 3 input drops, so all the game registered was my ground pound and then my dive. When I went back here because I didn't get the technique. I have not had that happen, I think, ever actually. So, luckily it does save your progress, so I don't have to redo those shards. You get this one, then you hop down and get this one. And now you just dive and jump to the final moon. To the story moon. Sorry, I keep saying final moon, not the final moon. To the next story moon. And this is the second non-story moon that we get in Bowser's this one, and it's also our last non-story moon. And coming up, we will see a familiar face. Not right away, because Harriet first. Anyone who says Topper first is crazy. Not actually. But you have to beat both Harriet, which is the boss in Sand Kingdom that we did not do, and you have to beat Topper, which was the boss in Cascade that we did do at the very beginning of the game. I know, that was like an hour ago at this point. So, but, you know, with the guy with the bunch of hats. But this is Harriet. Normally you fight her in Sand Kingdom, but we skipped all of the story in Sand Kingdom, so we didn't actually have to fight her. And this is Topper. He gets more hats this time, but he's still really, really easy. Unless you miss a hat, which I don't. So I'm able to just beat him immediately, and he just immediately goes down. This is probably like 116, high 116 to 117-ish pace. Dive. 2, 3. Jump. These things, if you couldn't tell already, from them being absolutely everywhere, are the main captures of Bowser's Kingdom. They're called Pokios. Almost just fell into the poison. That would have been bad. But as we move in to the last boss, to the last moons we're gonna get in Bowser's Kingdom. It's a boss fight called the Mecha Brutal, and you see why they call it that. That is just a faster way of getting up, but the normal way of getting up definitely still works. We just want to stay on top of the Mecha Brutal at all times. But with everything that's happened today, I don't know if we're quite gonna be able to do that. We'll see though. Hopefully. I did an impact. Nope. And we immediately get thrown off. Okay. That is not good. We want to get up as fast as possible. I did not mean to unpoke right there. But what we can do is we can actually it's fine. We can just do it the normal bombs way. I want to have 2 health just in case, you know. Bang. What is this thing on here? Bang. Jump and bang. And that is being on top of the Mecha Brutal so that we don't have to do that Pokio thing again. So we did in fact get up, thankfully. The reason you're crouching there is 3, 4, 5. He stops moving, so you can ground pound through things, and you get Harriet, and that's the end of the Mecha Brutal. So the reason I was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there is because that's his steps, and on the 5th step, he stops moving, and you go back on top of the mech, you backflip and you dive, so it sends you higher up, so that you can then ground pound the Harriet bubble while staying on the mech. And right now, this is looking, because of everything that's happened in Bowser's Kingdom, like a 118 or a 119 roll. We'll see. But the final kingdom is coming up, which is Moon. Here we go. Into the final kingdom. The Moon, as they say in Despicable Me. Let's go. More mashing, more cutscene skipping, as always. But we do get a new outfit, though. That's pretty hype. The all white tux from Mario. And that triple jump allows us to glide all the way over here. As you can see, we have moon gravity, which makes a specific trick that you're about to see possible. I did not mean to do that, but honestly it worked, so I don't mind. This is Moon Cave Step. So normally, you're supposed to go into a pit underground as like a final gauntlet, but that takes like 3 to 4 minutes. 2 minutes if you're really good. So, what we can do to save that time is called moon cave skip, where it's a bit finicky, but you can jump off here and get a second wall jump to get all the way up. It isn't quite working. That is one wall jump moon cave skip, which I don't know how that worked. That is actually the harder version, but it worked this time, so I'll take it. And it's time for the Bowser fight. There we go. And he has a new phase from Cloud where he will spit fire like this. And you just gotta kinda stand and wait for it to be over so that you can go back to hitting him in the face. I missed the hat right there, so he jumped away. This time I got it, and you bring it back right as you get to it, so you can immediately punch it. 2 tail swipes this time, and you can just punch him. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really matter how you get over these. Like I'm pretty sure you can do it with just a normal jump. Yeah, but I just kind of have movement set in my muscle memory. That allows me to do it. So Bowser will swipe his tail 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then Nintendo tries to fool you by giving you another one, but like it's not that hard to dodge. 1. And now it's time for the very end of the game where we escape from the moon as Bowser, which is super hard and one of the best endings to a Mario game in my opinion. Probably the best, honestly. We bring this bridge down. And go into this pipe. And we do a skip known as 2D skip that allows us to save, I think it's like 2 seconds. And then that is known as XD skip, which literally saves 0 seconds, but will lose like a minute and a half if you mess it up. So I don't know why I do it, I just do it. Because it literally saves 0 time. This is the final room of the game. As soon as we enter the wire after we destroy all the pillars, our timing will be over. But first, Unfortunately, this will not be a sub 120. It'll be like a mid 120. Actually, and the final pillar comes down, and as we enter this final cube, and as soon as we shoot off from the wire, timing is up, so, and done. That is time. Thank you, everybody, for thank you, everybody, for seeing this, and that was Super Mario Odyssey. With no further ado, thank you for having me, and I'll see you later.